Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink. So if you guys like the content, subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you guys like these charts, you like the approach, do check out the Telegram channel. You can find a link to it in the description below. If you'd like to talk about, where you think Link is headed, what do you think about these charts, etc. So make sure you subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump in. So what we're going to talk about is we're just going to be looking at these models for the Link price, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the 20-week moving average of Bitcoin. And this is one of those ones that I just like to bring up basically every single video because I think it is a good reference point to project, or at least to better understand what the price of Link will do. So we've noted, if you haven't seen this type of analysis before, the general idea is that when Bitcoin is above its 20-week moving average, this is when Link really starts to make moves, like it did in 2017 and 2018, early 2018, like it did back in the middle of 2019. Earlier this year, we saw an immediate pump once Bitcoin was above the 20-week, and again here we saw a similar thing, a slower move up and then a swift pump upwards to around $8 or so. Now, one of the things you can note, right, is that every time we have one of these shifts in the market where Link goes parabolic because Bitcoin is above the 20-week moving average, you can see that every single time the peak price is getting higher. Every time that Bitcoin went above its 20-week moving average and held it, I'm not including this one just because it was only it was barely a couple days. But here, when you're actually seeing these longer terms where Bitcoin is above its 20-week moving average, this is when Link really does start to make significant moves, and you can see each time it continues to climb that ladder. And it's all about climbing the valuation ladder so that we can continue to see a nice ROI on our Chainlink investment. Now, another thing that we've looked at, right, is the valuation against Bitcoin, and arguably this would be even more important than looking at its valuation against fiat. In the same manner, you can see that every move when Bitcoin is above the 20-week moving average, the peak valuation against Bitcoin keeps climbing, okay? So this is what we want to see. There's a ton of altcoins in the market that they just lose value against Bitcoin constantly. These are not coins you want to be, have exposure to. It doesn't mean those coins won't ever pump again, but what's really nice to have is a coin like Chainlink in your portfolio, because again, it improves your risk-adjusted returns by including it, because it tends to not move with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's moving, then Chainlink tends to not move at the same time. But the counterpart of that is a lot of times when Bitcoin is sitting still, this is when Link moves, and this improves your covariance matrix when you're calculating the efficient frontier using modern portfolio theory. And this is why Link is such a good coin, in my opinion, not financial advice, to have in your portfolio. Now, we've noted this general uptrend before. This is the valuation, again, against Bitcoin. We've also noted, a general trend line like this. I mean, it's easy to shift it around. You could easily draw it from this peak here, and it could be completely different. So I don't want to draw too much prevalence to this line. But the general idea that I want to point out is, Bitcoin has not experienced a full bull market while Link has been around. So we don't really know how Link will behave during a multi-year Bitcoin bull market. We just don't. It's never happened before. Will it make Link shine even more? Or will it be harder for the Link valuation against Bitcoin to keep up because Bitcoin might also be going up, say, 10x or something from here? So this is the general idea. Will it continue to maintain this path? Now, first of all, let's assume that it does. Okay? So if you look here, let's assume that this valuation continues at this rate, which we don't know if it is going to or not. It clearly could veer off and become flatter, or the trend could completely change. But let's just, as a thought exercise, suppose that this is what happens, and we stay within this uptrend channel. Okay? And now we're going to come back to this chart in a minute because we need to first take a detour to understand where that could put the price of Link, because this is the Bitcoin valuation. Remember, so this is Link versus Bitcoin. So this is our primary logarithmic regression band of Bitcoin. So it's fit to non-bubble data. And you can see, this is basically what you get, and it essentially puts Bitcoin near its current fair value. Now, if you note, in the last market cycle, we reached our previous all-time high within this primary regression band, and then we went parabolic. Okay, so if we were to do the same thing, then that would put reaching our previous all-time high at around the end of 2021, beginning of 2022 for Bitcoin. And for those of you who might think this is too far away, again, it doesn't mean that it can't go to 20K before then. I just don't think it would be a sustainable 20K. So this is the point. I think there's a good chance we're going to reach a sustainable 20K within about 15 to 16 months or so. So this is our general goal. So with that said, let's just say, January 1st, 2022, Bitcoin is somewhere around 20K. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but let's just say it's somewhere around 20K. And then ultimately this would kind of be a projection for the market cycle that I would see for Bitcoin. But the point of this video is link. So if the valuation January 2022, so basically as far out as this chart goes, is a $20,000 Bitcoin, and our lower bound, right, would be this region here on this trend line up. So it would basically put it at around, so this would be 2 times 10 to the minus 3, so 0.002, 0.003. So this is around 0.004. And this would be, that valuation against Bitcoin. Well, if the price of Bitcoin in January of 2022 is 20K, and Link is able to maintain this general uptrend channel, then the lower bound at 0.004 approximately, it'd actually be slightly lower than 0.004, but let's just say it's 0.004, it would actually put Link at a modest $80, which is about a 10x from here. And again, we don't know that Link is going to stay within this general uptrend. It's possible that it veers off at some point, and it would make a huge difference. If the valuation does veer off when Bitcoin goes into its own bull run. Then it could make a huge difference. If the valuation is say 0.002 as opposed to 0.004, then it's a $40 Link. So it can easily change. I'm just giving you an example of, well, if we are able to maintain this general uptrend that we've been in for the last 2 years, if we're able to maintain that for say another year and a half, then it would put Link at around $80 in about 16 months or so, assuming that Bitcoin is able to get to 20K by then. And again, there is some uncertainty on even that. It could be later in 2022, or it could be maybe halfway through 2021. My best guess, again, is around the first quarter of 2022 to see that, to see Bitcoin reaching that sustainable $20,000. Now, with that said, if we look at this chart, and I want to remind you guys, we've talked about this chart for a long time, even when we were down here. And we speculated that, okay, Bitcoin is about to go above its 20-week moving average. If it does, where does that put us? And I said, you guys can go back and look at the video, but I said that I think there's a good chance we're going to come up to the top of the regression band right here. What did we do? We came up right to it, right around $8 or $9 or so. And then we kind of held resistance around this point, and we've started to come back down a little bit. I do think that this is, and basically this was just based off the prior two peaks. The yellow line here is just our quote-unquote fair value of Link. So that would put, a fair value of Link is, it would be considerably lower right now than actually the price of Link. And you might not be sure of okay, well, what does that fair value mean? Well, you have to remember it's taking into account a lot of these lower prices down here. If we were to continue to refit the fair value, then it would actually slowly move it up over time as the price continues to stay, above this level. So, this has acted as a good, I think this was a pretty nice region to see a pullback. It makes sense in terms of seeing that general regression band slowly moving up. It peaked here at around $4, here at around $8 to $9. But here, the nice thing, not right now, is, well, what if Bitcoin doesn't fall below the 20-week moving average? So, so many times in the past, Link has seen a nice move, but then Bitcoin falls below the 20-week, and then, there's either a retracement or it just tends to move sideways with respect to the US dollar until Bitcoin gets back above its 20-week moving average. So we don't really know what's going to happen. if Bitcoin stays above the 20-week, maybe we'll start moving quicker. Now, the first thing I should say, or I guess it's not the first thing because I've already spoken about it, but one of the things I should say about this regression chart is that at the end of the day, these are just imaginary lines. We have very limited data for Link. It hasn't been around for an entire bull market. We don't know its true potential. It could completely smash through this and not care about Ben's logarithmic regression trend lines. The ones that I make that I think are more valuable are, say, the ones for Bitcoin and maybe even Ethereum, but even that one's somewhat dubious, right? One for Bitcoin, when we're looking at say our fair value, I put a lot of credence in this. And then we also have one that runs at the top that I'm not showing in this video. I really respect those trend lines. This one, I don't really respect them because I don't know what Link can do during the market cycle. Once we see what it can do, then we can probably develop a better model. Until then, this is what I have. This is what I'm working with, just to kind of get out all those caveats to the model. So, I do think for the short term, it has provided a lot of good insight into where the price of Link could go once Bitcoin got above the 20-week. This is where we said, okay, there's a good chance it's going to go to this point. And then we'll take it from there. Now, if Link were to go to $80, so if the valuation of Link stayed in this trend line with respect to Bitcoin, and let's say it had a valuation of 0.004, when Bitcoin gets back to 20K, let's say in January 2022, this will put an $80 Link. An $80 Link is up here, so you can see this would be above our trend line. So potentially that could be one path we take. And again, this would be an example of us not really respecting the trend line, or maybe breaking above it. If we were to see something like that, though, it's clearly possible we could retrace some. But just note that this would, if we were to see a $20 or an $80 Link by 2022, then this is what it would look like on this curve. If, on the other hand, we were to, if the Link Bitcoin valuation veered off and maybe we're only 0.002 and it were a $40 Link, then it would put it basically near the top of the band. We would still be in the middle of this band because this would be $20, $30, $40. So actually it'd be right here. It'd basically be right in the middle of the band if it were to go to a $40 Link within the next 16 months or so. So that's the general idea and what I'm looking at for Link. If you want to look at just an updated chart on the ROI of Link versus Ethereum and Bitcoin, guys, this is one of the most bullish charts. For a bear market, this is Link's ROI during a cryptocurrency bear market. Now, I'll leave it to you guys as a thought exercise to try to figure out what you think that means for, say, a potential bull market. Link has already showed that when Bitcoin does flirt with bull market territory, when it's above its 20-week moving average, this is when it shines. What happens if Bitcoin is above the 20-week moving average for 3 years or for 2 years? What happens then? We don't know. We'll find out together, but we don't know at this point. So this is the ROI chart, and first of all, I don't think it will keep up with the ROI of Bitcoin. I don't think that it's going to see a 10,000x in another from its bottom in another, say, 250 days or so. That'd be less than a year. I don't think it's going to keep up with Bitcoin. Most coins cannot keep up with Bitcoin over the long haul when you normalize the days since inception of that coin. You can see that coins have flirted with it, but it doesn't really, Ethereum flirted with it, but it wasn't maintained. So ultimately speaking, with Link, I don't necessarily think we're going to see that crazy of a return. But it is certainly one of those coins that I would consider too risky not to hold. Because there is a risk associated with not holding it. And again, it does improve your risk-adjusted returns if your goal is to, say, maximize your Sharpe ratio or your Sortino ratio. The Sortino ratio, as a reminder, does not punish negative volatility when calculating the efficient frontier. So the portfolio that maximizes that gives you the best risk-adjusted returns. And I'm basing it on historical volatility and historical returns. Obviously, you could make projections out and use that as your expected return, but that's another story. If you want to see it on a log-log scale, so the last one was just log, this one is log-log. You can just basically see how it looks. It still looks pretty nice. And again, for Ethereum, it was after this point here, Bitcoin is basically in a bull market, and Link is, again, it's not too far behind Ethereum. I mean, if you look where it currently is, it's where Ethereum was at the end of the bear market. Well, I mean, you could argue what is the end of the bear market, but if you say the end of the bear market was end of 2018, then that's where the ROI of Link currently is, and it also experienced theoretically the same bear market. So just take that into consideration. This is a log chart. If for those of you who want to take a look at that. If you guys like the content, we do have a premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Check it out. We have risk metrics for Chainlink, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a whole lot more. We have, including on that premium list, we have a alerts Telegram channel that tells you what I'm doing. And actually, I'm not a day trader by any means. I don't claim to be a day trader. I think it's more just a random walk than traditional TAs saying it'd be that helpful. And so what I focus on are key positional swing trades. And those do involve Link. So, if you're interested in that, if you're interested to see what I'm doing, then check out the premium list, because we do have a premium Telegram alerts channel that you can get access to. We have several hundred people that have signed up. So you can always ask questions in the public Telegram channel if you want to try to figure out if it's the right thing for you or if it's not. So do check it out. We also have a premium video each week and a premium newsletter. So my focus is to provide value to people and to make sure I'm always providing value. And if I'm not providing value, then you shouldn't be signed up. But as long as I'm providing value, then I hope you can continue to benefit from it. So that's my motivation, to provide that value to you guys. And this is why I do take a lot of requests for what you guys would, continue to like to see, because I'm always developing new stuff that can help everyone in their, during their cryptocurrency ventures. Now, I mean, this is not financial advice. Obviously, this is my take on the markets. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the video, about the content. Leave a note down in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss out on future Link videos, turn on the bell icon, and then you'll get notified of future Chainlink videos. One of the things I did want to say, is that article that was published about Link, and I made a note about this in the Telegram channel, was, guys, these things are going to happen. Like, we're going to see articles that come out like this, and it's just par for the course. If you have a coin that is moving up the ranks so quickly, then naturally you're going to have people that are going to want to say bad things about it, and they could have ulterior motives. I mean, it might not be that they think the tech is bad or anything. Maybe they have a position to open up, and they want to take advantage of that by publishing something that at first glance seems to to contain some merit. This is going to be par for the course during the market cycle, not just for Chainlink. For a lot of the coins you may be holding, you're going to see a lot of this type of stuff come out. Some of it's going to be legit. Some of it's not going to be legit. You just have to be prepared for that type of stuff. And this is why one of the things I talk about on this channel a lot is dynamic dollar cost average into the market and out of the market, because you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Even with that article that was published, I think Link is showing its resiliency, because you can see that the price, even though the price went up to $8 or $9, between $8 to $9, it really hasn't dropped that much. And remember, Link does go through these cycles over and over again. I mean, you can see several of them. So par for the course for Link. It'll just keep on moving on, and that article will just be a distant memory. But I would say just stay resolute, right, in your investments. Don't get too distracted by random articles or news articles. Just do your due diligence on them. I'm not saying you should ignore them. I just think that you should don't take them at face value. Wait to see, okay, what does this mean, and then go from there. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out the premium list again if you want to, and I'll see you next time. Bye.